I wish Excel would let me filter data based on the properties of cells within that data. The getCellProperties custom formulas of Nutilities will help you with that. Before we go into that, you can find a description of all the getCell formulas for Nutilities on the Nutilities menu, Custom Formulas, getCellProperties, and you'll find a list of each formula that you can use listed here. In this tutorial, we're just going to go over a couple quick examples that hopefully will demonstrate how you could use all of these formulas. For me, I typically end up using these custom formulas to delete out subtotal rows that I get when I export data from some financial systems. Some financial systems like to export their data with the raw data as well as strange subtotal rows included. So you can see here, this is a sample of what you might get. You end up with raw data followed by like a bolded or indented or a different number format that's actually a subtotal of the rows above. So you can see that for cost center 100, I have a subtotal row here of 17 that subtotals the row above. And the same for each of these other cost centers. And if I actually click on the cells of the subtotal, you'll see that they have formulas that are actually summing the rows above. So those can be used in formulas to get rid of these rows as well. So let's take a quick look at how I would get rid of these subtotal rows. One quick way I could do it is based on number format. I can quickly see that each of these subtotal rows has a different number format by the fact that they each have a $sign in front. So I could use, I'm going to glance at my list of formulas, and I could use getCellNumberFormat to do this. So I'm going to use equals getCellNumberFormat, feed it the first cell of my range, then drag it down, and you can see that each subtotal row has a different number format. If I apply a quick auto filter to this, you can see that general is the raw data and that subtotals have this number format. And if I delete out all the rows that have that number format by highlighting the row, right-clicking, delete row, turn off my filter, I'm left with just the raw data. I really like to do this when I'm doing my analysis because it's hard to use subtotal rows within analysis. If I want to put on a pivot table that become a problem, and so forth. So I'm going back to how my data looked before I just did that delete of rows. I'd made a copy previously, and I'll show you a couple more ways we could have done that same thing. Another way we could have done it is based on the indents of the cost center. You can see that the cost center is actually indented. If I come to my formulas, I can see that getCellIndents is a thing. So if I use equals getCellIndents, feed it the first cell of my range, drag my range down. Actually, you'll notice that I actually accidentally gave the wrong cell. I need to give it the cost center, not the expenses, because the expenses don't have an indent. So I'm changing it to reference the cost center, and then I'm dragging it down. And you'll see that all the subtotal rows, in fact, have a 1 indent. Whereas the raw data has zeros. Or another way we could have used is the number, or another way we could have done this is with the bold. We could have used equals getCellFontIsBold. So getCellFontIsBold. Put in the first cell of the range, drag it down, and you'll see that the subtotal rows are marked true, whereas all the raw data is marked false. Another way we could have done it is using formula, because each subtotal row has a formula. So we'll use getCellIsFormula. Drag the formula down, and you'll see it's marked true for all the subtotal rows. And all of these formulas work in basically the exact same way. Final reminder, custom formulas that are available from Nutilities are only available to users that have Nutilities. So if you send a workbook to somebody that does not have Nutilities, any of these formulas will show up as errors for them. So make sure you either hard code anywhere that the formula is shown, or make sure they have Nutilities installed first.